Welcome. Welcome, everyone. It's Angelo Robles. Here on the great day of December 1st, I'm doing a live here in the evening. No, not at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, because my beloved New York Giants are going to play about then. And of course, my expectations are they're going to win. My expectations are always met, usually with disappointment, but tonight might be the night. We shall see. Anyhow, here we are in December. I wanted to kick off December and do something that I think is going to be incredibly valuable. I'm calling this, after a trip to Silicon Valley, conversations with people in AI and big tech, my own thoughts, kind of top, it was going to be top 10 AI predictions for 2026. But because I have two bonuses, really it's Angelo's top 12 AI predictions for 2026. At the end, I'll have some announcements to make upcoming through December on masterclasses, programs, value added for members, Miami and Palm Beach. So all goodies coming up. But now we got to get down to business pretty soon. So November was an interesting month. Effectively, I kind of kicked off with my final AI Family Office Masterclass, which was the best one. Incredible instructors. It was amazing. I had an experienced AI Family Office set at 10x effectively their expectations. I got to get them to give me that quote, of course. And I had a trip to the Caymans where I led multiple sessions. It was great to get away. Obviously, Thanksgiving here in the US, so last week was interesting. I did have a guest early last week. I haven't had as many interviews this year, but I really focused on a lot of my writing, a lot of my thoughts, and a lot of things dedicated to two new programs to be released in the first quarter, alongside my updated, how could you not update an AI Family Office Masterclass, Gemini 3, and so much is happening and incredible. I have to update it like every 2 weeks. But creating a top 1% family office and sovereign risk and disaster preparedness for family offices. And wow, you're all in for a treat, at least from my perspective, in very early 2026. I'll talk a little bit about that at the end, but I'm assuming from my promotions, you're kind of here for top 10 AI predictions plus two bonuses for 2026. And without further ado, let's get at it. No one specific order, but number one, the silent freeze, the end of entry level white collar. So the great resignation is kind of being replaced by the great stagnation. Companies realize that they can maintain productivity without backfilling often junior roles, analysts, copywriters, coordinators, by using AI. This is short term, could be a very dangerous economic trend as we progress into and through 2026. And the issue really isn't mass layoffs, it's the destruction of the on ramp. If juniors aren't hired, well, they can't become seniors. This creates, to some degree, a barbell economy. A massive demand for AI proof trades, meaning protected from AI for a while until robotics get way better, plumbers, electricians, etc., high-level strategists with a hollowed out middle class. The university degree becomes, often a depreciating asset faster than a new car. Number two, the human premium service tier. So speaking to a human kind of becomes a status symbol. Customer service becomes eventually 99% AI, and accessing can I use the word, a biological human? Sounds weird. We'll go with it though. Requires a platinum subscription or kind of a high net worth. We'll see a sharp class divide in the user experience. Kind of AI free, it kind of becomes the new organic. So the rich get empathy and nuance from humans, the poor get efficiency and relentless politeness from the bots. This extends for sure to travel. Airbnb host who actually greet you, charge whatever, 3x more. And content, handwritten newsletters charge a premium, over AI curated feeds. What I would call number 3, the dark forest internet, a retread, the kind of retreat, the kind of gated communities, which I guess is what my membership community to a degree broadly is. The open web kind of becomes, how about unusable? It's a landfill of bot generated SEO sludge and infinite content loops. And what, to escape? Do certain humans go to discussion retreats behind paywalls, discords, and invite only networks? This is kind of the dead internet theory. And maybe in 2026, it becomes a fact. If you're reading something for free on the open web, it's going to become likely written by a robot, to read by a robot, to sell an ad to a robot. Oh, we are heading into that world. Verification, identity becomes the most valuable digital commodity. We will stop browsing quote unquote sites and really start browsing more communities. Now, blockchain, crypto is going to play into this. We'll see if I expand a little bit upon that, maybe more so in the future. So how about 4? Software becomes single-use, kind of almost plastic. Like, what do I mean? Like the App Store model, I think, is going to begin to collapse. Instead of downloading an app to pay for parking or track a diet, an LLM generates a micro interface on the fly for that specific task, which is deleted upon completion. This could be the death of bloatware. Why do I need 200 megabyte app to check flight status? In 2026, the operating system generates the user interface. Now, this should terrify, keep an eye on your investments, SaaS companies, because it destroys their ability to retain users inside a walled garden. Code moves from being a monument we build to a conversation we have. I know, I've experimented. I've created apps with vibe coding. Things are happening very rapidly, my friends. Number 5. The first, probably reality crash, kind of the hallucination hack. Imagine a state actor or anarchist group utilizes a swarm of agents, AI agents, to inject a coordinated, hyper-realistic kind of lie into the financial ecosystem, causing a flash crash before truth verification algorithms can catch up. The stock market is going to be a target, but the reputational damage will probably be even worse. Imagine this. Imagine, we're already seeing it. It's going to get so good. A deep fake CEO announcing a bankruptcy or a fake recall order. In 2026, truth verification becomes a bigger industry than cybersecurity. We will likely see perhaps a temporary internet timeout protocol instituted by exchanges to pause trading during, I guess I would call it, information floods. Yeah, that one could get nasty. 6, the machine economy. Kind of B2B, but bot to bot, a different kind of B2B. AI agents begin transacting without human oversight to get jobs done. An agent booking a trip negotiates directly with an airline agent via like API, paying in micro fractions of crypto. I've written and spoke about this in my members and masterclass community, have gotten how I structured a whole platform on it. So this is the only use case that in some ways actually saves crypto in Web3. Traditional banking rails are too slow and expensive for agents paying what? Like imagine a fourth of a penny for data lookup. By 2026, more economic transactions for sure will occur between machines than humans, although the value of human transactions will remain higher. 7, search is dying. Like imagine answer synthesis. Like it's going to get interesting. Browsers stop sending traffic to websites. They read the top 10 results and organize the answer. SEO dies, LLM optimization is born. This sparks, well, could have the copyright war of the century, actually. Imagine publishers, New York Times, Condé Nast, independent bloggers will starve as traffic drops to arguably near zero. 2026 will be the year of lawsuits and data licensing deals, information on the web. I could argue at least good information will cease to be free. If you want the source data, you'll have to pay the creator directly, or the AI effectively won't be allowed to read it. That's going to require more context upcoming in the coming weeks. Number 8, kind of debated this one, but an energy ceiling, almost an AI carbon tax. The exponential growth of AI kind of could hit a hard wall. Physics, data centers consume so much power that imagine nations start rationing compute or tax it heavily. Oh, like Moore's law is alive, but the power grid, like it could be dead. We'll see a massive pivot from bigger models in 2026, GPT 6 and 7, to efficient models, more small language models that run on phones. In 2026, maybe the best AI isn't per se the smartest. It's the one that doesn't require a dedicated nuclear reactor to kind of answer a math question. Number 9, vertical AI, and I hinted at this before, kind of destroys horizontal SaaS, software as a service. So what's going to happen with Salesforce, HubSpot? They're going to lose ground to hyper niche AI agents that many of you could create. You just don't go to my masterclass and learn how. Why use a generic CRM when you could use a lawyer GPT that knows the tort code and automatically files briefs? General purpose software, man, we are getting close to the end. The future is really service as a software. You don't buy a tool to help you do payroll. Really, you kind of buy or create an agent that does payroll. The SaaS multiples on Wall Street will collapse as investors realize that these platforms are really empty shells compared to AI agentic workflows. Number 10, the return of hardware, the anti-screen shift. Maybe hardware returns with a vengeance because voice and ambient AI are getting really good. Looking at a rectangle, like AKA your phone, maybe starts to feel archaic. New forms factors, pins, glasses, earbuds are going to gain real traction. I disagree that the smartphone dies in 2026, but maybe kind of the glance replaces the scroll. We are moving towards kind of heads up computing. The killer app for AI is probably not a chatbot. It's a voice in your ear that whispers the name of the person that just walked up at a conference. The keyboard remains maybe for the creator, but for consumers, voice and gesture are going to take over. Now, there's deeper thoughts behind this and how 2026 and the 27 is going to shape up. Let's save them a little for a different time. I got the New York Giants to watch pretty soon, but we still got time. Okay, I promised 2 bonuses. We'll call it 11. How about the good enough bundling? Google, and we're seeing it with their awesome Gemini 3, strikes back. Oh, I don't know, the Microsoft Netscape playbook? Prediction. Maybe the benchmark wars end. Users really stop caring if a future GPT-6 is 4% smarter than Gemini. Google stops trying to win an IQ, but they're doing pretty damn good at it now. It starts winning, like more so on friction. By integrating their Gemini invisibly into Android, Chrome, and Workspace, Google makes kind of going to others, like, don't want to pick on ChatGPT too much, but let's do it, feel like an unnecessary extra step. So, I mean, does the best rarely beats the default? OpenAI risked becoming arguably the Netscape of the AI era, the pioneer that defined the medium for sure, but was crushed by the incumbent who owned, in this case, the incumbent distribution rails. Unless OpenAI successfully launches, which it might, it's up to something, its own hardware or operating system this upcoming year, likely via a deeper exclusive, probably Apple integration, or maybe a proprietary device, they will be relegated to a power user tool while Google captures the mainstream sheer inertia. 12 in the last one. Ooh, maybe the CapEx reckoning, the V-shaped investment crash? Kind of maybe a $600 billion question. Wall Street loses patience with infrastructure spend without application revenue. The massive valuations of mid-tier foundation model companies, kind of those building the GPT-4 clones, as I would call it, a little behind the times, without a unique moat, collapse. We see a wave of kind of what I call acqui-hires, where big tech buys these unicorns really just for their GPUs and researchers and kind of shuts down their products. The build it and they will come phase may be over. In 2026, capital rotates violently. It flees from general intelligence, building models, and floods into applied intelligence, vertical AI, physical reality, energy, robotics, data centers. If you are a startup pitching yet another LLM that piggybacks effectively, you get like nothing. If you're pitching nuclear like mini reactors to power the LLM, well, you probably get billions. The industry realizes the bottleneck. The bottleneck really isn't code anymore. It's electricity and unique proprietary data. So I did want to keep this relatively brief. I couldn't resist turning 10 into 12. Honestly, I could do 30 or 40. But these, I think, are some of the things that we see coming in 2026. Again, there is no stopping this train. The US government, in a Cold War with China, is putting everything they have. I could get into thoughts on OpenAI. Will the US government kind of backstop them if need be? Probably, no matter what David Sachs said. The US government is certainly going all in, and I do think it's the right call. Now, this creates an interesting discussion around investing. What Google is doing is actually pretty amazing. And I hinted a couple of months ago, I was very big being long on that. NVIDIA, we could go a little back and forth there. I still think relatively short to midterm, we're going to be good. And I do think with especially robotics and robotaxis, you're going to see a very interesting year from Tesla. And there's so many private companies as well. We are in a very, very interesting time. Now, I know many of you have noted I've not done as much hardcore investment programs lately. I will be doing some in December. I think tomorrow I'm going to do like things that me and other far more significant family offices look at in terms of metrics, both maybe up to now, but how that's changing now and into next year, and what has been chopped off, what is in, what has still stuck with it, capital allocation, a whole bunch of different things. So tomorrow, give me a little chance to kind of whip that together, maybe Wednesday at the latest. And then I will be having one or two guests coming on where we go pretty hardcore, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I'm going to say it. I've said it before. AI is underhyped. Now, here's what I'll also say. I got some pretty smart family members, and they know that I'm pretty active in this community. I'm shocked, but maybe I shouldn't be. Like, why am I always shocked? And we're talking pretty high IQ folk here. Like, they didn't even know what Anthropic was. They just know the basics of, oh, that ChatGPT, is it on 4 now, or is it 4.5 or 5? Occasionally they'll get in it. They'll put a one-sentence prompt that they think is good and accept the answer. Like they need to be attending my masterclass more than anyone. I am telling you, I am 100% right about this. And my timeline is correct. No, this is not 5 or 10 years out in the future. You have to get much, much better understanding the models, which one is better for what, how to make them battle each other, where Gemini 3 newer has an incredible edge and why it's a pretty massive step forward, but where Claude and Claude Code and building and vibe coding and creating AI agents, again, I'm doing this and I'm an old man that knows nothing. And how am I able to create apps? How am I able to create AI agents to have my LLMs battle each other for the best answer and teach that with incredible instructors like I did back a couple of weeks ago, the week of November 3rd, I believe that week was. Like, it's happening rapidly, rapidly. Everything that you know, I'm not going to quite say is coming to an end. It's changing. Energy is going to equate to effectively intelligence, and intelligence, very advanced AI and deep reasoning, is going to be in everything. And once we get the energy picture right, debatable, and there's a whole bunch of other factors, including the advancement of robotics. Like, this is an intriguing time to be alive. Are there parts of me, I said this before, that wish I could roll back the clock to the 70s and 80s? Maybe that's why I still listen to 70s and 80s music and enjoy movies that bring me back to my youth. Sure, there's a part of me that wants that. I just know that's not a world that we're living in. So you can make the decision, like multiple of my high IQ family members, to, it's interesting. I know a little of ChatGPT and that's good. You will lose. I almost wanted to grab them and shake them into a reality, but like, it's like Thanksgiving time. I got to be a little bit of a gentleman sometimes. And I was told to keep away from my political discussions. It was a very warm and loving Thanksgiving. But looking back, and maybe between now and the end of the year, I will reach out to those family members and, I'm going to talk and they're not going to listen, but I'm going to try. And I see it with many of you. I offer AI white papers for free that are 150 pages and incredible, and like less than 1% of you show any interest. Now I have to update it, and constantly update it. And I didn't do that with the Gemini 3 and so many new things I've learned in prompting and AI agents. I will do that before the end of the year and have a chance to update that, I promise. So I did want to give you a little bit of what's ahead for the remainder of this year and what does the early first quarter look like. So one, I hope you enjoyed this. There will be more to come, both solo, like I'm doing tonight, and live. I do want the interaction, as well as at least a couple of interviews. And heading into 2026, I'll probably have a better balance of my solos with more interviews. I got some great guests. Just lining up their timing sometimes between now and the end of the year is a little difficult. There's very deep philosophical, intellectual questions around what's going on in the world, in AI, and economics, that having a debate, a battle of ideas, I think is very good. But I have found out, like I mentioned to many of you, a lot of people are uncomfortable with someone who challenges their assumptions and comes at it with a little bit of rigor and that back and forth. I almost enjoy confrontation. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's effectively how I learn, by debating ideas and hopefully not getting anchored or too much in an echo chamber myself. But we're human. We all fall prey to that. So there's just so much going on. Like, please, if there's one thing as an entrepreneur, a family office, an executive, anyone, like, how could you not see what's happening around the world? How could you not see the AI story? I mean, I could get into darker areas, the rise of socialism in the US, why that's just horrific. What's going to happen at the midterms? Oh, we got a lot of good subjects to cover. Ones that everyone in the family office world says, Angelo, be just a boring vanilla guy and never talk about that. I can't do that. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm wrong my fair share. But can we talk about difficult subjects within the framework of our community? And hopefully, again, I want people to take the opposite side and want to come on and have a conversation. A lot of them just aren't comfortable with that kind of setting. They just want me to ask a generic question or two that they create, shut the hell up, and have them kind of do their thing. Sorry, no, unless you're a massive celebrity that could help me draw more viewers, I mean, I may give in a little there, but other than that, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to remain me from that perspective. So there will be some more solos, including likely tomorrow, that will have more of an investment bent. I got a really dark one too on my sovereign risk. I'm trying to see if I could brighten it up a little bit. I'll try, but I don't know. Maybe I am my own Dr. Doom. Oh, lots to discuss. So there's two projects. I will relaunch the AI Family Office Masterclass, likely 3 or 4 times in 2026. I do not see me lowering the price, my friends. It is what it is. You either want to get a massive advantage and rock it and crush it, or you don't. You want to become a dinosaur and believe that you're going to read a blog or go to a generic tech conference and think you're going to understand it. I'm bringing in billionaires, family offices, rising gen, and we're hardcore going into and showing how we're actually using and building these programs and agents. Like, how could you not want to be a part of it? Now, there will be some, because I've gotten inquiries, that I will bring myself and the dream team to you with no other families. Yes, that's going to cost more money. So I'll probably do 2 or 3 of those next year. But I will be rolling out finally my Creating a Top 1% Family Office, initially as a handbook and resource for my members, and my sovereign risk and disaster preparedness. There is no one in this community that could touch me on that one. I am doing hyper unique work. I'll be wrong, I'm sure. Maybe I'm a little echo chambered and looking at it through a certain lens, but I am giving it everything I got to wrap it up by the end of the year. So those will be rolled out as additional masterclasses, unlike the AI one that I think has to be immersive. You have to be there. Those two, my members are going to get it all inclusive. Access to me, the handbook, which is huge, the digital version, and covering any in-person, which there will be, masterclasses that I host. But I will likely torture myself and do 10 or 12 hours of recordings with me and special guests on Creating a Top 1% Family Office and sovereign risk and disaster preparedness. I spoke to a gentleman today in Europe. Wow, this guy, hyper high IQ, former Black Ops agent and sniper. And this guy's stories about what's happening to families and the devastation that many of them are getting around the world, financial attacks, family members being kidnapped, and the steps that he takes, I'm bringing this guy to Palm Beach, and you're going to meet this incredible European. I actually have something nice occasionally to say about Europeans. It does happen occasionally. And this guy, well, with his background, I don't want to get on his bad side either, but we're very aligned, but I learned so much. So I'm going to integrate. So what I'm basically saying is those latter two masterclasses, I will have a downloadable handbook and digital version. I'm a capitalist, my friends. If you're not a member, you're going to have to pay for that. And no, it's not going to be $199, but it won't be as expensive of coming to a multi-day in-person immersive masterclass, but that will be available at least once during the year for each of those. Again, become a member of my SFO continuity, get my intelligence and strategy network, and it's all bundled up. It's all inclusive. Like, that's really the easy answer. So I will be doing 1 or 2 breakfast and lunches in New York in the winter. I kind of like New York when it's snowing and a little bit wintry. Why not? But I do love one of my homes here is in rural Connecticut, and that's awesome too. I will be hosting a family office day in Miami at the Ritz-Carlton in late January, and I have an incredible agenda and great speakers lined up. And who else is doing this? For my members, 5 days in beautiful Palm Beach. Sign the contract today, making it official. I'm going to update a little bit of my website that does talk about it in mid-March. It's going to be incredible. It is my marquee program of the year. Great speakers, great content that you are not hearing, I'm sorry, at other conferences that have paid sponsor after sponsor with often woefully horrific curriculum. It just is. It is what it is. So if you want to be part and immersed in something that's real, that talks about topics others don't, that has real billionaires, real investors, real people that use AI, that invest. Some of them don't use AI. They're classic investors and want to hear about structuring, about geopolitical issues. I'm going to have a new twist on my story of the Detroit paradox. I'm going to bring the gentleman from Europe that I noted. We got just so much going on. So to wrap up this year is going to be great. The first quarter is going to be an amazing quarter. And then I will be at the Milken Conference. I'll be there all week. I'll be hosting breakfasts, lunches, and soirees that first week of May. And we're already planning more for New York, for Austria. I hope to be more active in LATAM. And I did mention the Middle East. So my friends, I am coming, traveling around the world, a lot going on, got invited to speak at so many different things because I'm covering so many unique topics that others in the family office world, I don't know, ego, ignorance, fear, they're just not covering. They're not. So again, my goal is not to be likable. I guess I don't have that likability gene as a part of my genetics. I wish I did. It's a great trait to have. I'm opinionated, and I got some things I want to talk about and things I want to learn. I have incredible questions. I have a list of questions that are so deep, so philosophical, and circling back to money and families and what's happening around the world. And honestly, sometimes I share them with some people that I respect to come on the show, like they don't want any part of it. Like I'm trying. So I don't know if you're a hyper IQ person that like, hey, Angelo, you should be inviting me on and let's rock and roll. Let's go back and forth. Let's agree occasionally and disagree a lot. Like I'm open-minded, no guarantees. There's gotta be a little bit of a reason behind it, but always feel free to reach out to me. Well, we got some interesting comments coming in. Trash AI and a whole bunch of other things. Looking forward to sessions. Thank you all very, trying to see if there's any more specific questions besides about my hairline, my beard, blockchain will become good stuff. David Siegel's book, Pull. Okay, I'll look into it. There are a couple of books. I prefer Kindle, but I decided to do both Kindle and one soft and one hardcover. They're not in front of me right now. Oh, they're good. I'm going to review them. Maybe I'll do a review on the show. How about that? I'll become a book reviewer as well. Let me keep them a little close to the vest for now. Either this weekend or next week, we're going to rock and roll on that as well. So there is a lot going on. And for many of you, honestly, an answer in many ways is becoming a part of my private intelligence and strategy community, becoming a member of my SFO continuity, marching up to 100 incredible families around the world, and really going deep into a lot of these subjects. And trust me, you want family office structuring, tax optimization, hyper advanced discussions on investment policy statements, asset allocation, like we got you covered. It's not all geopolitics, broad economics, and AI, although those are very important parts that are very important in today's world and will be impactful to all of you, period, moving forward. You putting your head in the sand, especially to AI, is not going to make it go away. It's going to make you an absolute dinosaur and get rolled over. I hear a lot of these Wall Street heads and others, and some of them iconic figures who I do in my own way respect, but I cringe when I hear them talk about AI. A lot of them are just, honestly, they're too old. I'm in that camp as well. I'm 60. Just be open-minded and face realities. Everything that you know is coming to an end. Everything is changing. And you're going to get left behind, many of you, as families, as members, as executives, as people that service the community. And I'm trying really hard to wake you up. But a lot of you are comfortable in your status quo. A lot of you are comfortable with organizations that you belong to because you feel you're a bunch of like-minded comrades and no one is looking at you saying, like, what the hell, you're wrong. challenging your assumptions, get out of your echo chambers. So become a part of what I've built. You can go to angelorobles.com. You can learn more about upcoming programs, although sometimes I'm a little slow updating the events tab. The AI masterclass, the more personalized version, and other areas around my new content that I mentioned on creating a top 1% family office and sovereign risk and disaster preparedness. Those will be two incredible, hyper unique masterclasses upcoming. I will probably convert my 10 things to do with AI right now for a family office into a book. Challenge is like every week or two it changes, but I may just give it to my resource and have them, get it up on Kindle. Fine. I do have the Family Office Playbook. It's about 500 pages with 850 questions and checklist. Even for a multifamily office, I'm not only the single family office guy, although that is the majority of my focus, but 85% plus of that also is going to apply to a multifamily office as well. That will be a published book, probably mid to late first quarter. And I have another one called Billionaire Mastermind that I haven't spoken about too much. My travels around the world, my conversations and knowing, including very well personally, some of the most incredible entrepreneurs and billionaires, and traits and lessons learned. So more to come on that as well. So even when I'm not as public with my videos and all that, I'm almost always writing, thinking, restructuring, and have something going on. Me to stay static is effectively impossible. So now at 7:40 Eastern, you're all getting pretty close to being in the way of watching my beloved New York Giants, the return of Jackson Dart, our hope and promise for the future. I'm also a huge Oklahoma Sooners football fan. It looks like with 99.9% certainty they'll make the college football playoffs. The offense is a little not that great, but they're so good. And I think so well coached on every other aspect of the game. And no, I'm not a Johnny come lately, my friend, since 1974. I wasn't even 10 years old. And I guess I did latch on to their championship year that got my attention. Barry Switzer and others. Okay, as I'm talking about American football, especially college, I'm probably completely losing my international audience who's saying, why is Angelo calling that football? He means soccer. No, I mean American football, my friends. So on that note, I think you all know what to do. Go to angelorobles.com and learn more. I should be on a couple of more times this week, including a little bit more of some investment focus, as well as something that will be startling and segueing pretty well into my sovereign risk and disaster preparedness. I think that's about it with comments and questions. So on that note, I appreciate all of you. I hope you're going to have an awesome December, a wonderful holiday season, and you all could reach out to me and connect anytime. You all know how to do it by now. Thank you and have a great evening.